Hello YouTube, you cheeky lot. Well, it looks like I'm going to be here for a while. One of them got me good, and if I know anything about zombies, is that I've got about 30 minutes until I become one of them. But in some cases, it's as little as 30 seconds. Nice. So anyway, as it's Halloween time, I thought I'd have a go at looking back at some of my favourite horror influences that I saw as a kid. Everyone loves The Shining, and without a doubt there's many a Ghostface fan. So with the minutes of laugh I have left, let's take a look back at some of the more obscure horror influences you don't hear much about. That TV show that many filmmakers are scared to talk about at parties. One may argue that the mise-en-scène of Kubrick's The Shining is particularly unconventional, and the distinct use of complementary colour psychology retrospectively contributes towards the audience feeling isolated. So what about you? What are you into? I like Goosebumps. Goosebumps, the gateway of horror, the show that took the best tropes of the horror genre and watered it down for kiddies to enjoy. Produced in Canada between the years 95 and 98, Goosebumps was scaring the poppy pads off of young'uns, good and proper. My favourite episode was The Haunted Mask, the story about a girl that got trapped in a scary mask and starts acting like a rat prick to all her mates. But man, sometimes the show can really go to some dark places. The first episode is about a librarian that eats tarantulas and turns out to be a giant bug. This really is the stuff of nightmares. It's not really miles away from being a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode, and you half expect her to pop out and chop his head off. But I guess this kiddie-friendly show doesn't have a Slayer, because then that means we'd have to have a bronze nightclub in this universe, which is quite possibly the horniest nightclub ever depicted on television. You know, the sort of place where everybody does that backwards 90s dance. Man, was I in for a surprise when I grew up and found out that UK student nightclubs are actually like this. Goosebumps also gave us some of our favourite actors of today, and gave them a real head start in their career. Like Ryan Gosling, who starred in an episode called Say Cheese and Die, in which an haunted camera killed the person that you took a picture of.
Stupid pictures. Stupid camera.
I can see what they saw in you, Ryan. Anyway, but as this were a kids show, so instead of dying, they got badly injured, mostly off screen to save a budget.
It's Dad. There's been an accident.
Well, I guess I'm pretty lucky.
Apart from this incredible stunt.
What are you doing here?
But aside from some questionable performances, storylines, and sometimes batshit concepts, the way some of these episodes look is just awesome. I mean, Dutch angles, mad lighting gels, smoke machines, it's all reminiscent of our favourite horror films that came before it, and you can tell the people making them were proper fans. To a young puppy, who otherwise didn't have access to 18 rated movies, it were enough to spark my interest into one day making something myself. That's why all my shit looks like it's stuck in the 90s, including clips of the zombies I shot here a few years ago, which are actually for a drive-in cinema commercial. Ah! Right, anyway, I'm beginning to see a white light here, so before I meet His Holiness, let's take a look at another TV show of the same era. This one was darker, scarier, and actually brought more of those scares over from classic horror films. I actually remember some of my earliest dreams being affected by some of the stories here. There's one where a kid gets trapped inside a pinball machine, which is actually set in a mall, because budget I guess, and there's a witch. There's a scene where he finds loads of coins in a water fountain. Oh man, I miss water features in public spaces, but I swear, the strange mishmash of these ideas and settings really played into those weird convoluted dreams you'd have as a kid, so I think it were always intentional to make it confusing, you know. A bit like UK department stores in the 90s, where none of the layouts made any fucking sense. You'd have to walk through some sort of luggage department to get to the hidden stairwell, and then get to the lingerie aisle that then led to the toys. Fucking hell. Though I guess we're heading back that way with the recession and that now. Now I've got to walk through a fucking Sports Direct to buy a Nintendo Switch. Anyway, aside from the department store nightmares, Are You Afraid of the Dark was scary, and it teetered on the edge of horror way more than Goosebumps ever did. Like the episode with Zebo the Clown, which were actually much scarier than the TV iteration of It. This ghost clown is no joke. I mean, to defeat it, the child has to bring it a cigar to get rid of it.
Cigar.
These adult themes made it way more naughty, and always felt like I was watching an actual horror film, whereas Goosebumps were always a little bit more goofy. I can just imagine some of the arguments now going on in the boardroom. The director wants to chop someone's head off, but the network's saying, nah, we can have blood, but it has to be green and called monster blood, which ain't actually blood, but it grows whenever it eats an inanimate object and not people. Right, so we're in the endgame now. Yep, definitely nearly a zombie. We probably have time for one more childhood horror influence before our turn, so let me have a think. I also like zombies. That's right, slow zombies, fast zombies, the infected. But back when I were a young'un, the most accessible and first introduction I had to them were computer zombies. Resident Evil. When that bald fuck turned around and had what looked like a really sore mouth, life was never the same. And things really heated up in the sequel, Resident Evil 2, when an old squad of them smashed into the shop and ate the owner. In Resi 2, right, you get 2 discs. On one disc, you get to play as Leon, a rookie cop on his first day on the job. On disc 2 is Claire, a badass biker who's looking for her missing brother. If you walk into the shop as Leon, you're met with this line of dialogue.
Who are you?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
Sorry about that.
But if you play as Claire, you get this.
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
Ooh. Sorry about that, babe.
Whose idea was it to add that one word in?
But don't you worry, girlie. You'll be safe in here. I'm keeping a close eye on things.
Hey, how are you? Good. Why don't you have a seat right over there?
How am I supposed to care about this sleazy fucking gun shop owner getting eaten? Anyway, they sorted that out by making him a right pussy in the remake 20 years later.
Just go. Just give us some privacy.
It were actually really depressing. They should have just got Pervy Dad out altogether, I reckon. But the original Resident Evils had a real charm to them. Unlike the new ones where the main bloke has to gather the limbs of his dead baby together, which have been torn off and put in jars, hidden around a werewolf-infested village. Oh well, as long as I get to blast baddies, I suppose. Hang on, I've just realised that I've got a dog as an head. I think that means that the zombie infection ain't working, on account of me being a dog and that. I'll live. As long as I can fight my way through them, I reckon. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this special episode. Subscribe if you want more ramblings and surface level dives. And drop a like if you've liked this video. Shit weapons in here. I guess this will do.